Oh. Ooh.
You're so sad.
Live from your ESG 19 fog, it's a Woke Data Wednesday spectacular here. I think I emphasized the wrong word there. Here at the Black Rock Bouncy House. Ooh, I didn't know they had a
Ooh, that would be awesome. I'd be looking for a job at BlackRock if they had a bouncy house.
Joined as always by our BS correspondent, that's Board Saber Matrix, Matt Mascardi. I'm his other brother, Damiano Mascardi.
Oh, Damiano?
Damiano.
That's terrible.
In today's
terrible name.
We're better than NPR scented nuggets called October 26th, 2022. Celebrity directors and an anti-woke education. Is that what you're doing?
That's what I'm
education?
doing. I'm loving everything you just said. It really makes me feel good.
Matt, today's episode is sponsored by S-Gauge.
Yeah.
Your ESG data solution.
That's right.
Paul is off today. No Paul Hudson. You're clapping that Paul is off?
No, I'm clapping for S-Gauge.
Okay. Paul told me that he's dabbling with his own kind of version of COVID-20. He said it's not COVID, but it's adjacent. So let's call it COVID-20. The great
COVID
Paul Hodgson.
19B.
19B. Here we go. Ready to do this before my voice falters?
Yeah, let's do this.
Matt, celebrities on boards. We've kind of missed this overall.
Yeah, why don't we talk about this more?
Yeah, I occasionally I
blame you.
We talk about some of the bigger ones that would pop up in the news, but we never really did a segment on it. So let's do it today. Celebrities on boards. Yeah, you want to say something before I get going?
I don't. I want to know who's... is there a game? Is there something? What am I doing here?
There's no game.
You're just going to tell me things?
It's a list. It's a big, long, boring list.
Oh, good. Nothing says interesting analytics like a list.
First of all, this comes from an article from Fortune magazine called Celebrities on Boards. More than notable names. Yeah.
Oh. Is this suggesting that they're on the boards because of their business acumen?
I don't know, but here's a quote from Matt Fulbrook, who is called a governance expert and host of the 1 Minute Governance podcast. Do you know this guy?
No.
1 Minute Governance podcast. We can do these in 1 minute. Why are we what are we doing wrong? We're already at 3.5 minutes and we haven't even started.
What do you even say in a 1 minute podcast? Like,
and do you think he has a governance expert shirt like you do? You have an ESG expert shirt.
No, he definitely doesn't have swag. But because who would buy 1 minute governance as a shirt? That's just not a
Matt
thing.
Fulbrook, I know you're listening. Join us. Come on.
Yeah,
come on
you
our
should.
show. Do a good game with
us. Then we
don't know
make
who
fun
you
of
are, but we want to know. No,
we're going to be nice
that's
to your
not true.
face.
Here's a quote. He made it to Fortune magazine. I didn't. Here's his quote. There is no inherent upside or downside to the celebrity angle beyond clickbait, which could be great or awful. And then he says, the real benefit comes if the celebrity is also a great director. I mean, yeah, right?
I'm not exactly sure what kind of analysis that is.
That's 1 minute governance analysis.
That is.
What he's saying, Matt, is that the director could be good if they're great. If they're a great director, right.
Directors are good when they're good. That's true.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
That's like Herm Edwards saying, "We play to win the game."
Oddly, Wikipedia has an entry called "Celebrity Board Director."
Really?
I don't understand this entry at all. There's no examples. There's a few dead links. Like they insinuated that in 2009 that the SEC discussed new rules around these celebrity directors, but I don't see any hard information about this.
Okay, good. Wikipedia is not exactly a vetted source of information, is it?
It also says in this celebrity board director article, other characteristics of a celebrity board director include ethical, solid business judgment, reliable agent, informed stakeholder, and effective stewardship. So I don't know what's going on.
They just listed the qualifications to be a director.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Celebrity director.
Celebrity
Come on.
part. Who cares?
Get me there. Come on, do me. Get me there.
All right. You want more? You want another transition? Mm-hmm. How many transitions do you need? Here, let's do this.
All right. Let's start with some of the classics. Let's start with some entertainers. I'll be brief at first, and then at the end I'll give you some of my favorites.
Thank God. I'm
Some
excited for
early
long-windedness.
ones. Early ones that I didn't know about. Cary Grant, famous American movie actor. Cary
Really?
Grant was on the board of Fabergé.
The Egg Company?
Yes. Joan Crawford, another famous American actor. Pepsi Cola. Joan Crawford.
Pepsi, really?
Also, Grace Kelly, 20th Century Fox. That makes more sense.
Well, what years were these? These are like the 50s?
These are old. These are oldie-timey dudes. And I don't know if you noticed, but I think Cary Grant was gay, I think. And Joan Crawford and Grace Kelly, I believe, were women. So
Yeah.
celebrity directors, maybe your first diverse director hires, maybe?
But let's say if board sabermetrics existed in 1950
Yeah.
and they were sitting on the board, they would have said, our metrics would have said, no one listens to those people. Like that, it would have been pretty clear cut, right? Like it's not
Some
exactly
other-
like they had a
yeah.
role then. Plus there were no rules. You could put anybody. You put a horse on your board. Like what was the rules? Was there listing?
Not
rules?
only were there no rules, but there are not even any filings on the SEC website. I couldn't even get any good information. Zac
course not.
Efron,
Well,
Kodiak.
now we're getting
Ashton-
modern. Hold on, back
Yeah,
up. Now we just went
yeah.
from the 50s to like the 20.
Oh yeah, you know why? There's nothing in between. I don't know
not
why.
a single director. Wow.
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher, Vox Media, Oprah, Weight Watchers, blah, 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 blah. Ooh, I like this one. At the same time, at the board of MGM, same time, 2 celebrity directors. I think this is the only time I've seen this. Priscilla Presley, right? The
Yeah.
wife of that bloated guy Elvis,
Sure.
and Francis Ford Coppola, famous movie director. Same time. MGM.
I will say, so this is entertainers. Is that the section we're in?
That's this section, entertainers.
Entertainers.
Next, we're moving on to athletes.
Wow, entertainers don't make a good showing. I'm a little
No.
disappointed with entertainers.
You know, I'm not giving an exhaustive look. Just some of the
Yeah, but
famous
why
ones.
hasn't
Athletes.
Anyone given
Yeah.
Jon Stewart a board position? John,
No, he seems like someone who actually could do that job.
doesn't he
You know
feel
what?
like he'd fulfill a fiduciary duty?
You know what? We have a Jon Stewart-esque director coming up a little bit later, actually.
Maybe
It's a-
we
it's
should
a
get
she. It's a
actual
she.
Jon Stewart or Sam B. or put him on our board. Let's do it.
What about Matt Moscardi on the board of Kraft Heinz?
That
Moscardi.
will be the day. The day they let me in a boardroom is the day I'm happy.
Athletes. Some of the more famous ones: Michael Jordan at Oakley, Magic Johnson at Square. Did you realize this? Magic Johnson.
I mean, that gels. Magic Johnson owns
Really?
like multiple sports teams and stadiums and stuff.
How about this one? Arthur Ashe at Aetna Life. Arthur Ashe, great tennis player. Arthur Ashe.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Shaq. We talk about Shaq a lot. Papa
Yes,
John's. He's a big
my
one.
favorite. Sure.
And again, once again, all these are diverse board hires. All of them.
well,
in
athletes tend to be relatively diverse now.
Well, in fact, most of the entertainers I list are either women or black.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the
Women,
the-
black, and
the
gay.
overlap here is.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of gay, and Matt, let's move on to the ones that I wanted to highlight. I want to highlight some of the fun celebrity directors. Matt, you had a piece just yesterday. What was it? ESG Tucker, Cucker
yeah.
Tarlson.
Cucker Tarlson.
You talked about Billie Jean
That
King.
wasn't me.
Okay, well, whoever. I mean, you put out the show. I don't know.
Yeah. I just hit play.
According to LinkedIn, I don't know what's going on. Matt, you ready for this one? Billie Jean King actually was a director.
Really? Where?
Of all companies, Philip Morris.
That's so woke. That's
But
so
one of the most
woke.
famous athletes ever
Wow.
was a director at a cigarette company.
Yeah. Well, it was a different era. They used to smoke cigarettes like before. Like LT would just do
Okay.
cocaine and smoke cigarettes and then
The
go
era
play
we're talking
football.
about, the era that Matt's referring to was between 1999 and 2003.
That's what I'm saying. It's a different era. Look, we grew
All
up
right.
in that era. It was like cigarettes and payphones. That's what we did.
Here's what's fascinating about Billie Jean King. She also served on 2 committees.
What?
She served not only on the Committee on Public Affairs and Social Responsibility. That seems
Okay,
like
that
a
one seems
no-brainer.
obvious. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
She served on the Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee. Billie Jean King.
What?
I love it. At Philip Morris.
Who is she nominating? I mean, not Bobby Riggs, clearly.
Her Her tenure lasted 4 years. I couldn't find an announcement of why she left, but fascinating one there. Another fascinating one, O.J. Simpson.
Oh, oh.
No, I'm serious. Two
That's
different
not a good
boards.
look anymore.
Two different boards. Infinity Broadcasting, where he served on the audit committee. This is no joke. You're laughing. This is true.
The audience is laughing too.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
And also, ironically, this stuff writes itself. Celebrity director O.J. Simpson served at Forstner Group, which is an importer and distributor of the Swiss Army brand of knives.
Oh, that's less. I mean, was he also
story,
on the audit
though.
committee? I mean, he knows how to bury the
No.
evidence, so being the audit committee is probably a good idea, right?
Yeah, not the audit committee there.
Oh, that's disappointing. So
Here's
he's
a
got
humorous one.
knives and audit expertise.
Yeah.
What a weird
Here's a
couple
humorous one.
companies.
Hall of Fame basketball player Dwayne Wade. He's on the board of a company called Jeter, which is a cannabis company. It's not a public company, but I just wanted to point this out because it made me laugh. At the company where he serves as a director, it was sued for not making customers high enough. Okay, anyway. Oh, how about this one? Serena Williams.
Oh, now we're getting into Serena Williams is like a venture capital player, and you didn't mention the
Okay.
entertainers. Ashton Kutcher, who's also a venture
Yeah.
capital player and on multiple boards. He's
I mentioned
taken
Ashton Kutcher.
early stakes.
You glossed over him. You didn't care.
Yeah, well, you didn't really sit on him. Like he's like
Yeah,
Serena
it
Williams is like
bored me.
actually successful.
Here's what I like about Serena Williams. Three separate boards. So
Yep.
she's our winner so far in the celebrity board race. Poshmark,
Poshmark, sure.
where she was a member of the compensation committee at Poshmark.
Good. Bring down that pay, baby. Bring it down.
Momentive Global, which used to be Survey Monkey. She served there for 5 years.
Less interesting.
And
Survey Monkey.
she was also on the board of a SPAC called Velo 3D. So the weird thing about Serena Williams is that she quit all three boards essentially when she quit tennis. I have no idea why. It seems to be the opposite of what you would have expected.
Well, I do think she's focusing in on this thing that she's doing. Like it's like a venture firm for.
Why'd she quit all of them?
For
where's she gone? Why'd she
people
go
of
away?
color, marginalized communities.
No.
You got to spend your time doing the real thing. I mean, you know what that actually suggests is that boards are fake things. Like you don't like.
Okay. Do tell us.
Okay,
Tell us.
so you had a career as a tennis player and had plenty of time to sit on the board of these companies and be on the compensation committee. But then you quit being a tennis player, you start your own business, and all of a sudden you don't have enough time. You quit all the boards simultaneously. What does that suggest about what it takes to be on the board? It's like when you want to do something real, you don't sit on the board of a company. That's what it suggests to me.
Well, maybe they pushed her out because no more free tickets to the U.S. Open. Maybe they're just like, we don't need you anymore.
Oh, you think it was? Oh, wow.
Who knows?
That's your best conspiracy theory yet.
Let's get to my two favorites, and then I'll wrap up this terrible segment. Wayne Norbit, Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs. No, that's just a joke. Okay, let me get to my two favorites. Although I do like that one. I do like that one.
You like the
Wayne
idea of
Norbit. Emma Watson.
Ooh.
You know this? Fellow Brown alum, Emma Watson.
She's very smart.
She sits on the board of Kering, a French luxury goods company. That kind of makes sense when I think about it.
Yeah, I don't like that much.
She's very luxurious to me when I
She is, but she's
luxurious.
too smart for that. Well, sit on the board of like a science company or something.
Granted, I agree. She's smart, and you know what? And I was in full favor of this one. She is ready for this one, Matt. She is the chair of the sustainability committee. The chair.
Wow.
Yes, it's incredible. She started a 4-year term on that board in 2020. Granted, it's a family-controlled company, so it's a little bit made up over there. But she is the chair of a board committee at a publicly traded company. I love that.
Chair at a
Emma
board
Watson.
committee that you then dropped the fake public bomb on us and said that it doesn't matter.
I'm going to drop another bomb. which might make you a little sad. But before we get to that, though, she's listed in the proxy as having both industry and CSR expertise. Just
I did, while I was at MSCI, I thought I saw her go to the like water cooler one day. I thought maybe she was in the kitchen. I could have swore I was like, that looks
learning
like Emma
CSR
Watson.
stuff.
And I think she was covering she was covering financial services companies.
There isn't like a brown fist bump you could have given her or something. I don't know.
What's the brown fist bump?
I don't know, like $20 bill. I have no idea.
Salute.
Here we go. Here to bring you down before you get too excited, because actually I was excited by this. I wanted to promote Emma. Here's the fun part. Makes me laugh a little bit. The great Emma Watson. I do love those Harry Potter movies. Here's a quote from the latest proxy statement. Again, this is the chair of the Sustainability Committee at Caring. She attended 2 of the 10 board meetings held in 2021. And this is the best part. And she was unable to attend the Sustainability Committee meeting. There was one meeting last year. The committee she chaired, she didn't go to that meeting. So her attendance rate came in at a whopping 18%. The great Emma Watson.
Wow. How much did she get paid for that?
For partial year service, it looks about like 40 to 50,000 euros, but it'll get a little bit bigger next year.
Because I did see that. Yeah. You haven't mentioned this. Mark Wahlberg's on a board.
Oh yeah, tell me.
So I found this in our board sabermetrics accidentally, because I was doing some QA and I saw Mark Wahlberg and I was like, "Is that the Mark Wahlberg?" And it turns out
how could there be another one?
The Mark Wahlberg, Mr. Wahlberg, they refer to him. He is on the board of F45, which is like a fitness company or something. And
that makes sense.
They went public via SPAC, so he was on the he was the SPAC board, and that's how he got on. He got $260,000 for attending a whopping 2 meetings in 2021.
2 out of how many, though?
2 out of 2. They only held 2 meetings.
Okay. Better than Emma. Sorry, Emma, but when you chair the committee, you probably should show up to its only meeting of the year. Or how about this? How about schedule that you have 365 cracks at this? How about you schedule that one meeting on a day that you're actually available?
That would be an idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have
There's
a calendar.
fast-speed train from London to Paris. A very fast train that she could have taken to get there.
I think they count attendance via Zoom. I don't think you have to show up in person. They still count you. You could turn your video off and put it on the background. And yeah. Okay.
And finally, and to Matt's point, there are a lot of now celebrities joining boards via SPACs, and I excluded them because I don't like SPACs, and I think they're stupid. So I excluded them.
All right.
The best one, maybe the most infamous, I should say, is Lance Armstrong, which I guess is sort of America's most notorious liar, I suppose. He's a famous liar, no? A famous cheater.
No.
A famous fraud? I don't know what he is. Here we go.
Wouldn't it be like Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds are probably worse? Maybe Lance gives him a run.
Lance Armstrong, Morgan's Hotel Group. Okay.
Is this current?
No, this is from 2008. I'm looking at the 2008 proxy. He was there for a few years. Here's the kicker, though, for Lance Armstrong. He made $72,000 that year. From the proxy, here's a quote from the proxy. Our board held 11 scheduled board meetings in 2007 and also a number of ad hoc board meetings because the CEO was stepping down. So these are important meetings for a board member.
You got to be around. Yeah, you got to cast a vote.
All of the directors attended at least 75% of board meetings, with the exception of one man who attended 71%, and Mr. Armstrong, who did not attend any meetings. So there you go. That's
wow. All
winner
right.
is Lance Armstrong.
Nicely done,
yeah.
Lance. You didn't.
And when he stepped down, The board put out an announcement thanking Lance for his contributions to the board over the past 2 years.
The contribution of not showing up, that contribution?
Saying that they said they are grateful for his service to the company.
Which contribution were they thanking him for?
That's my look at celebrity directors. Unfortunately, yeah.
That you left out that's actually legitimately successful also, which is Roger Staubach, the quarterback.
I saw him on a list. He had a company, like the Staubach
He had a company,
companies.
and he sold the real estate company that he sold to Jones Lang LaSalle, which is a massive financial institution, then sat on the board as their executive chairman for a number of years before stepping down.
I don't know why that doesn't surprise me. There's something about, I remember him from my childhood. I remember him, I never saw him play, but I always see him associated with the Dallas Cowboys, and he always looked like he was a CEO of something. He just looked like very distinguished.
Well, he was the CEO of something, and then I'm sure he must have been the one who escaped the CRT, the concussion-related brain injuries, because he made a long career out of boardroom stuff.
I thought with the relative success of Shaq at Papa John's, we've tried to figure out ways to make fun of Shaq on the board. It sounds like he's actually doing his job, doing well. I thought.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We're not making fun of Shaq. We're making fun of the board, because part of the reason why they went with the largest, blackest individual they could find was they had
would it be abhorrent racism?
Just got rid of their racist CEO. I mean, it was like so comical. That's the joke, not Shaq.
Well, I thought we were beyond this Lance Armstrong era. I thought that I would find that all the new directors would be putting in a lot of hard work. So the Emma Watson thing kind of upset me a little bit. Kind of derailed that theory. So
it would do that.
I'm going to leave it at that. The Emma Watson watch is on. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're going to say?
I now have my hairy eyeball on her.
All right, let's move on to some.
What do you got? Anti-woke education. Come on.
All right, here's what I got. So what I'm going to tell you is all real. I'm not going to tell you anything that's fake. And here's the real thing.
Oh, mine was real. How dare you?
This is an update from the anti-woke, and it's the one you've been waiting for, because it's here. Now you can get a K through college anti-woke education. We finally have all the elements in place. And there's a place now that's announced that they are happy to ignore data and facts, alternate views of the universe, in favor of a single myopic view that there is nothing alive except for shareholders. And that place is Troy University in Alabama. Here's the headline.
Oh.
Business leaders should know the value of business. A new program at Troy University hopes to do its part. This is written by Daniel Sutter, who is the Charles G. Koch Professor of Economics. That's right. Sponsored by the Koch brothers.
Oh.
With the Manuel H. Johnson Center for Political Economy at Troy University. Here's a quote from Sutter in the article. He says, quote, "The roots of what John McWhorter characterized as woke religion lie in Marxist critical race theory, which partitions society into antagonistic oppressor and oppressed classes. On the other hand, business enables cooperation in which people don't force their values on each other. As Voltaire observed about the London Stock Exchange, quote, here Jew, Mohammedan, and Christian deal with each other as though they were all of the same faith, and only apply the word infidel to people who go bankrupt."
Okay.
So he's invoking Voltaire there, who basically said people of all races and creeds come together, and the only one who gets left out is the bankrupt. That's the one who gets the oppressed, is the bankrupt.
Yeah.
And just so it doesn't feel left out, I'm going to finish the rest of that same Voltaire quote, the next sentence of that Voltaire quote.
I was going to ask, actually,
which sounds creepily like a case for diversity, which is, quote, "Was there in London but one religion, despotism might be apprehended. If two only, they would seek to cut each other's throats. But as there are at least 30, they live together in peace and happiness."
Wait, he's building a diverse board.
He basically just said diversity is your source of peace and happiness. That was the next line. I didn't go 12 lines later. That's the next line in Voltaire's quote. So now just to summarize, you have Prager University, who is paying $6 million
Prager
a year.
University?
Yeah, they call themselves
that's a
Prager
thing?
University. Yeah,
That's terrible.
They're paying $6 million a year to Facebook and $4 million a year to Google to advertise their K through 12 curriculum, with such hits as "Trophies Are for Winning" and a television series called Otto's Tales. It's targeting kindergartners, and they cover things like the American Trinity of God, American exceptionalism, and nationalism. You can go to Florida, which bans the discussion of racism, social emotional learning, and math, obviously, if it asks something like, what happens when you add 3 American flags to 6 leftists? It equals socialism. That's their math. That's math in Florida now. And now Troy University dropping a foot in the college curriculum so that finally we can get a full soup to nuts education in how to be anti-woke. And the good news is, this is a game for you. I think I got a hold of a preview of the classes that they're hoping to teach at Troy.
Oh, good.
So what you're going to play is called What Classes Should I Take This Semester? In which you're going to choose 2 classes out of the following options.
I like this. I always like choosing classes for school.
It was going through the big book of
Hopeful. It's a hopeful moment.
It is. You're going through the big book and you're very excited about what you might learn.
You didn't realize that professor was actually a giant bore with smelly coffee breath. You didn't know that.
Not yet.
You
didn't. Yeah. You didn't know that yet. Okay. So here are your list of classes. You ready?
All right.
Number 1, cross-sectional review of white bros on boards. Are there enough? That's the name of that class.
Sure.
Okay.
It's a different perspective of how we usually cover it, but it seems valid.
Yeah. I mean, they're just taking it from the other side.
Other side.
Yeah. Are there enough white bros on board? Seems to be the thing. All right. Class number 2, Fundamentals of Accounting, which is a cross-discipline class with Jewish studies. I thought that was clever.
That's disturbing. Yeah.
There was ESG 101, and actually in parentheses it says ESG, and then it says Enemies, Socialism, and Godlessness 101. So I guess they're teaching.
You know what? I think you finally rebranded ESG in a way that makes sense to me.
Enemies, Socialism, and Godlessness.
Those are 3 things I love, actually.
There was a weird class that just seems straight up racist, which is odd for a school with like 40% of the population is African American. But they just said marketing to the blacks, and they had a the there.
Yeah, but this is a public university in Alabama. Let's acknowledge what Alabama really is. They still have the Confederate symbol on their flag? I'm not too sure. But if they don't, they probably still have slavery on the books as being something that's okay.
On the books, as in.
No, aren't there some states in the South that still have like archaic pro-slavery laws that they refuse to get rid of?
Well, they don't talk about it, though, because it sounds like critical race theory.
About it.
So
maybe they can talk about it at Troy University.
I think you need to take ESG 101, Enemies, Socialism, and Godlessness. The next class you can choose from is The Economics of Jesus, From God to Free Markets.
Ooh, I like all comic book hero classes.
They also have, and this actually got into some leadership stuff, How to Manage Your Woke Employees. Is one of the classes that they're offering.
Which is really code for how to shut up your woke employees.
Well, they don't say that. Maybe they will manage them by managing them out of the company and only hiring.
Them. Yeah, I like
maybe
that.
They'll, on the application, they'll say, are you a Christian and do you only believe in that? And then the final class you can choose from this semester is Applied Conservative Behavioral Management. That one sounded pretty normal.
That sounds boring.
So what do you go for?
Well, I think clearly I don't understand ESG, so I got to go ESG 101.
Good choice.
Someone can finally tell me why they decided to throw those 3 letters together and market it to the masses. I still don't really understand it.
No, it's an excellent choice.
Number 2, how to manage your woke employees. They're starting
going straight to the woke employees.
One of them asked me the other week if he could use the bathroom, and I thought that was a bit too entitled. So
yeah,
I don't know I didn't know how to answer that.
Did you say which bathroom?
No, just to use the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Get out with that.
Now,
Get
this
out
just
with
seems
your
too
questions.
pushy to me.
And
Yeah.
just in case you were worried you couldn't
Snapple jar, hello.
you couldn't get into the Troy program.
Yeah.
Troy has a 92% acceptance rate. So basically, you apply and you're in. I'm not sure who's in the 8%. Can you imagine being in the 8%?
Our listeners, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing they got rejected.
Yeah, so they listen to business fans.
But also worth saying here that 42% graduation rate and
Okay, that sounds
41% of the Troy attendees used the Socialist Pell Grant program provided by the U.S. government in order to allow them to go to college. They let the government.
Yeah, what kind of a
pay for their
trophy
college.
is that? What kind of a trophy is a loan? That sounds
That's
terrible. That's not a
terrible.
trophy.
That's all we got. That's Business Pants. That's Woke Wednesday. Come back tomorrow when we won't be woke anymore. Thank God. We're going to talk about other things. Until then, goodbye.